Richards, and we are here at Dropback Studios for another amazing show of exposure in a good way. Guys, let me tell you, today we have joining us a phenomenal young man. He is a producer, a director, a screenwriter. He is the CEO of Warrior Style Films. I need y'all to help me give a warm welcome to Mr. G himself. Come on, welcome G. Hey, how are you?
Doing all right. Thanks for having me.
So how you doing?
Doing all right.
You doing okay?
Yeah.
You sure? So tell us about your entertainment company that you have, Warrior Film Entertainment. Come on, let us know.
Well, I draw comic books, and the time it takes to actually draw and sit down, I literally have to re-ink a comic book. I was like, you know what? Cousin of mine was like, why don't you do like a cartoon? I was like, I ain't got time to learn new editing software. I'm too busy, because I was writing 2 books. And he was like, well, why don't you got a camera? Why don't you film it?
Okay.
So I was like, I don't know how to film. Like, that's not what I didn't go to school for that. I'm an artist. I paint and I draw. He's like, yo, it can't be that hard. They got stuff on it. Like, you can watch the tutorial on YouTube. So I had a camcorder, and I was just like, you know what? I was saving up the money to buy a DSLR. And he's like, yo, just do it with the camcorder. I'm like, it's gonna look shitty though. And he was just like, so? So I sat down, I wrote some stuff, because I actually had the comic book, so everything that I filmed is like, most of it is frame by frame from the comic book, but I had to write a script because people had to say stuff.
Okay.
And so I wrote that, and then I was doing security work and for one of the Marvel movies, and I met this woman. She was an extra.
Right.
And I was just like, yo, she fit the bill. So we started talking, and she gave me her contact number, and I casted her. And my cousin was, in the meantime, he was just like, yo, let's shoot some stuff. I'm like, I ain't got nothing written. So he's like, just shoot some of the stuff from the comic book.
Right.
So me and him, we started off, I shot a scene. First I shot a scene, just me coming out of a building. Then I shot another scene. I forgot what it was, but then when I shot a scene with him, he was like, yo, do because I showed him the comic book.
Right.
And he was like, you do the scene where my character kills you. So we shot that outside of his house. Like, I was walking, or he gets out the car, comes to the apartment. I open the door and he shoots me, goes back, and it ends, right?
Okay.
So we shot that. So then the girl that I had actually met contacted me on Instagram. Was like, yo, when you gonna shoot my scene? So I shot her scene. Then I shot it, and my cousin was like hyped up. I shot another scene with him. Basically, it was like a cat and mouse where the bad guy is tracking down the good guy.
Okay.
So we get into like a shootout and a fist fight, and it just kind of kept snowballing. People kept contacting me on Instagram, was like, yo, I want to be in this, so I'll write more stuff. I actually wrote like 2 new characters that wasn't in the comic book.
Okay.
Just because I was like, people was interested and wanted to be part of it. So before I know it, I shot all this stuff. Then I'm after hours doing like B-roll footage, I'm shooting around Atlanta, just shooting scenes. And we finished the whole thing, and it looked real crude, right? Crude editing, crude like film quality, sound, all that.
Wow.
And I finally, by this time, I'd already got my DSLR. So I was like, yo, I could do the second one. Now this time, I'm shooting all the stuff like from the second film that wasn't in the comic book. This is like all new material. So it just snowballed into that, and then I guess the more work and more content you pull up, the more people contact you.
Wow, yes.
And then I would run ads on Craigslist like, yo, it's casting for blah, blah, blah. And people would respond back, because I'm like, yo, check out stuff on Instagram before they would check it out. And before I knew it, I had a whole second film made.
That's awesome. How long have you been doing this for?
Since COVID. I think that was a turning point because I was doing like selling my books and my apparel to like boutique shops and bookstores. And when COVID happened, I couldn't go nowhere. Nobody let you inside. They didn't want to talk to you without a mask. So, and it wasn't heavy foot traffic on the streets. So I was just like, you know what? We'll take advantage of the fact that there's not a lot of people out, so we can shoot stuff without people being like, oh, what's that? Now it's gotten a little harder because it's always people out in Atlanta. So that's actually what prompted it. Like COVID, I didn't want to go broke. And I'm like, okay, social media is still like an apparatus it's still moving.
Yeah.
Even if stores are closed, restaurants, grocery stores, people always watch the content.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I can maximize on all the stuff that I can shoot, and I can upload it, and I could direct people to YouTube, because you get YouTube money. So
that's where we can watch the films on YouTube?
The first installment of Liquid City you can watch on there, the clean version. And then most of my material is on my website, warriorstylefilms.com.
He has a website. Okay.
Yeah, you gotta have one of those.
That is dope.
They don't take you serious.
That's awesome.
And then, yeah, that's where most of my content is. I put up like teasers on YouTube. The web series that I got, A Friend of Me, which is like a dark horror, sort of like the black version of Tales from the Crypt.
Okay.
So that I upload those episodes. I actually compiled it as a full movie, but I chopped it up and I upload episodes on YouTube. Okay. It's just like the Liquid City is like a franchise thing. I kind of want to make that big.
Okay.
It's like sort of like a Marvel thing. A Friend of Me was just like a idea that came to me like in the shower. So I just throw it on YouTube just to see what sticks.
Okay.
Of course, all the stuff that's, I'm not gonna say graphic or explicit, but the stuff that's a little bit more adult themed.
Right.
The adult themed episodes are on my website. The clean version. For $5.99, right?
Oh, $5.99. Okay. Yeah.
It was $2.99, but
really?
I had to raise the price up because a friend of mine that does media was like, it's too cheap. People ain't gonna wanna.
Really? Does that work though? When you raise the price?
You'd be surprised. People literally will purchase stuff that's at higher like price point because they think it's a better quality.
Oh.
If you mark it at like the videos were like, or the film content was like $2.99. In people's psyche, if it's cheap, it gotta be cheap.
Wow.
So but if it's sort of like clothing. People will walk past shirts that look just as good at Target because they're $12.99, but the same shirt you could easily sell at Louis Vuitton or Polo for $85, $90. People's gonna think it's
not I. Yeah, right. As long as they look good, But listen, and that brings me to asking about your brand. Like, I want to know, you got the rose going through the crown.
Yeah.
That's dope.
That's the name of the clothing line, Dope Garbs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I got you.
When I started though, I was 30, and so it was like graffiti tagging. Like that was the logo. And after I say 30, 35, after I turned 35, I was like, okay, I'm gonna need more. You have the same clothing, but just a more mature brand because I'm not getting no younger. And so, and the people with the money are the people that's older, not the people that's younger.
Right.
So, I don't know why I think I was asleep and I thought of the logo. Everybody uses the crown, but I've been using the crown since like 1997. I think it's an old Basquiat trademark. Okay. But I've been using the crown. I paint a picture, I put a crown at the bottom.
But what made you put the rose in the crown? See, that's kind of deep. When I sit here looking, he fixing the shoulders so he could tell me.
Well, I think I don't know. I think in my younger years, I ain't gonna say I was a playboy, but I was a player.
Okay, see, he admitted it. Okay.
So I came up with the logo, like the crown. I was asleep, and I like woke up, and I literally drew it and went back to sleep. And the next day, I refined it, went on Photoshop and like cut it up, made it look more refined, and like it was a crude drawing because I woke up at like 3 a.m, sketched something real fast, went back to sleep.
The crown.
Yeah. The next morning, I actually woke up, I inked it, I scanned it, I put a live trace on it. All the people in graphic design, they know what all this is. I did a live trace on it, I did a fill in, And then I was already selling clothing, but I was like, you know what? I pulled all the designs down and uploaded this and just slapped it on everything. All my t-shirts, all my hoodies, all my hats. I had to pause my store because during COVID, I didn't have the funds to keep the website running and market, because you can't just like upload stuff. You gotta like, unfortunately, all these platforms, they like to make you think, oh, everything's in the algorithm.
Right.
Like people see it and this goes viral. That's not. Most of these people are running ads.
Okay.
They're running ads. They're saying crazy stuff. They're doing crazy stuff. They record music videos and they run an ad.
Okay.
And you can reach more people. And if you happen to have some good product or service that people like, then it goes viral. But just off the muscle, like just uploading stuff, it's like an upheaval battle.
Okay.
And I didn't have enough funds. I would say I had funds, I didn't have enough.
Okay.
Because I was stretching myself thin with the books and with the film.
The books.
And
the comic books.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as a working entrepreneur, like we play a game of try not to go broke.
Okay.
Like a lot of people like, oh, you sell clothes, like it doesn't get off the ground like the next day. So whatever funds I did have in the bank, I was trying not to go broke, because you don't want to just throw a whole bunch of stuff out there and that sticks and you just like hemorrhaging money.
Right.
So I kind of put my online store on pause and just focused solely, even the books. During COVID, I knocked down my second book and I was gonna write the third book, which was a prequel to the first book.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what? I can't sit and just focus on writing chapters of books. So let me just focus solely on the film. So I put most of my energy and resources like solely on filming. Not only that, like when you're doing film, it's more than just you got a camera.
Right.
I got to coordinate with the actors. That takes a mental toll on your brain.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, I'm ready, and then I need this person and this person. But connecting this person to the shoot and this person at the shoot, because everybody got different lives, it's like mentally exhausting.
Yeah. Well, they have to be serious, you know. But look, I'm piggybacking too. I want to know about the roles, because listen, I'm looking at your brand. Okay, so I see the crown. Okay, I see a lot of crowns. People have crowns, but you have a rose through your crown. So this is what I want to hear about, because I'm seriously like, I really like that look. So I would like to know, you know, what made you come up with the rose through the crown? Because I haven't seen that until today. Because it's dope. It looks great. I love it.
I think what it was so the crown is something like kingly, right, or royal. But I didn't want to be generic and draw a smaller crown that kind of signified the queen's crown, right? That because it would take too much time and artistic creativity.
Right.
So I was like, what's a representative, or what represents something that the king would protect? It'd be the queen. So the next best thing is a rose, because it's a flower, something soft and precious.
Oh, that's so beautiful. But it is. Look, he got a soft heart there. Isn't that nice? That's nice. That's really nice. I like it. It's a beautiful logo. Like, I've never seen one like that before.
Well, after the 15th of February, you'll be able to go to dopegarbs.com. The store will be back up.
Okay.
I think I took a whole lot of stuff off, but I got black hoodies, white hoodies, probably every color in the spectrum of hoodies, except salmon. I don't got that color.
Okay.
I got t-shirts and I think probably hats and tank tops.
Okay.
So.
All right. Okay. I'm going to check it out. Okay. So what else are you doing? Let me see. You have a podcast, right?
Yes, I do have a podcast.
So are you smiling? Why are you smiling about the podcast? Because picking his fingers. Don't be picking your fingers now.
It's a little it's controversial. That's all I say. It's crass and controversial.
Okay.
And it's me like basically saying from the feedback from the public, I'm basically saying a lot of stuff that people are thinking. That in this whole cancel culture, and like freedom of expression, people are scared, and because everything's been corporatized. So if everybody's scared of getting their corporate money jeopardized, I don't work for the corporation, so I say what people really be thinking within the community guidelines.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Okay, all right, okay. Well, he shared a little bit about it, but that's okay, because we know who you are, the person that you are, right? Yeah. Yeah, so that's good. So what else do you have coming up that you would like to share?
After the 30th, I'm gonna resume doing season 2 of A Friend of Me, the web series that I throw on YouTube.
Okay.
It's like I said, dark comedy, because there's some comedy in it.
Okay.
It's like a dark comedy web series. Yeah, because I think that's what like media is missing. And I didn't want to I do like fantasy films.
Right.
So A Friend of Me is about a punk rock singer back in the 80s.
Okay.
And I'll just give you the brief synopsis, but he gets killed, comes back as I'll say like a evil spirit.
Okay.
And he basically just convinces people, like they're already going through a situation or a scenario that's happening to him. And he basically is just like the driving force that pushes them to kind of like, and it always ends in disaster. Like whatever the person's doing is gonna end them like down a road of tragedy. So he basically just pushes them. So sort of like the devil, if you will.
So, and you wrote this.
Yeah.
Okay, got a creative mind.
Because I was thinking, like, I watch a lot of, like, as a black film director, I see a lot of stuff, like, when I look at, like, stuff online or on TV, it's always these coming-of-age movies, right? Dudes in the ghetto, gotta make it out there. It's just so cliche.
Right.
And then I was 2024, it's like, why are we still, like, I like Dame Dash, but most of his movies that he put out was, like, dude trying to get out the hood, so he gotta sell crack or he gotta flip some birds. It's like we should be moving past that, considering that other movie studios are doing Marvel or Interstellar.
Right.
I was telling a friend of mine, like non-black studios are like doing films or sci-fi films where they're putting people on the moon, or hell, they're even rebooting up like Mad Max or Total Recall. Why are we still trying to get out of the ghetto? Like we gotta be a little bit more imaginative. Like when I see stuff and they're like, black film directors are putting out this movie and it bombed, and it's just like, it's not because it's a bad movie.
Right.
It's just dated.
Okay.
Like you trying to get out the hood, that's boring. I think Issa Rae did a movie with Lakeith Stanfield. He's a good actor, and she's alright. I like her awkward black girl series that she had. But it's just like when they do stuff like I think it was The Photograph.
Okay.
It was like basically another iteration of Love Jones.
Okay.
We seen that in 1995. So it's like you gotta approach film, I think, in a more creative way.
Creative.
Which is the same way like even non-black studios, they do like those comedy romances, they bomb because it's like we've seen Jennifer Aniston and Vince Vaughn. We've seen Matthew McConaughey and Jennifer Hudson. Like we've seen this. Why are we still beating a dead horse? You gotta mix it up.
Mix it up a bit. Okay, makes sense. So you had a movie premiere recently at Dropback Studios. Do you have another premiere coming up?
No, I'm probably not gonna do another one until we wrap with, because I'm trying to shoot both of them simultaneously.
Okay.
It'll probably be Liquid City, probably shoot or do a launch in the fall. Okay. Hopefully, this is a project that, this is the third installment, and I've upgraded equipment.
Okay.
But for some odd reason, pinning the actors down has been problematic. With A Friend of Me, the dark comedy is like, that's easy to do because I try not to do a lot of reoccurring characters.
Right.
So when I cast, it's most of the episodes are a new batch of characters. I think last season I did a few episodes with a couple of people more than once.
Okay.
That's because they were like dedicated.
Yes.
But then it started running the gauntlet because I wasn't trying to use them in other, because if you watch it and you'll be like, oh, wasn't that the girl from? So a lot of the scenes I have to like make where you can't recognize them.
Okay.
Or they got their back turned. They play like either a stand-in, or if they do play a new character, it's like shot from an angle where you can't really tell it's them.
Okay.
Or I don't like I got one of my friends, he's in episode 6, but he's also in episode 2.
Okay. Different characters, different roles.
Different characters, but I made sure I briefly shot him in episode 2. Like the episode is mostly you know what I'm saying, another actor.
Right.
Or I didn't try to like keep the camera on him too long.
Right.
So when you see him in episode 6, you're like, oh, like you'll recognize him.
Right.
But it's a different like story. So hopefully the imagery of him being in, like, you know, if you show a character for too long,
Right.
and you see him in another episode, people are like, yes, because you put too much camera time on.
Okay.
So I tried to like shoot him real brief,
Right.
or not show him directly, so
Right.
that people wouldn't really recognize the person too much.
Yeah.
Wouldn't pay. Like, so the stories, the continuity through the stories aren't overlapping.
Right.
Even though there are a couple episodes, if you watch, I purposely used a couple people more than once, because I'm like, okay, these are crossovers. They
Okay.
play the same person,
Right.
but in different scenarios.
Okay.
So it was all good. This season, I want to use like new people.
New
Like I
people.
really don't want to use the same people.
Do y'all hear that? So are you casting?
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. So he is casting. Pay attention now. He's gonna let you know where you can find him.
Well, if you're interested in doing some acting work, send your stuff to warriorstylefilms at gmail.com. Check out my stuff on warriorstylefilms.com, and you can also check me out on Instagram and YouTube at the same name.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Are we wrapped up here? You have anything else to say?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you. Take care. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Keep watching for more empowering, inspiring, phenomenal interviews. See y'all soon.